I apologize. I went off again, but I got hooked up. But Jan Vogt.
Jan just bought you a cup of coffee.
And she did. Thank you, Jan. But I'm wondering, what was she saying? Pair character doing a shaka sign with his hand saying cool.
Oh, you don't have the right computer. It's an emoji. If you had an emoji, you'd see that it was like a picture of like a rubber chicken high-fiving or something.
I thought she was giving me instructions. And I'm like, all right, I'll try. I'll see how I can embody a pair. So remember, Marty, and for everyone who's listening, hi, Princess Yolis.
Why does this keep quitting on you is what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know why it keeps quitting on me. Michelle was telling me that it's not just me, that it's happening all over the world. I'm thinking that it's because
she did that to make you feel better.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I'm
just joking.
I think there might be, I don't know, stray cats pulling at the wires outside. But the diversity compass, remember, has 3 questions. Number 1.
Yes.
Does what I'm thinking of saying, because a diversity compass is something that you would use before you open up your mouth and say something, and you're not sure whether or not it's professional. You know, because a lot of people they struggle. Michelle is one of the most conscientious people I know. She actually tries to be a better person and tries to invest in herself and polish her skills all the time. And I find that very commendable, because not many people recognize that they need any development. And now, Michelle, you don't, of course, need any. You're just doing it for fun. But Michelle,
you realize that she went upstairs like 10 minutes ago.
I'm sure she did, because that's just how she likes to treat me. But she questions things a lot, like, is this appropriate, right?
She does indeed, and then just recently her new focus is how does she provide value to her clients and her community every day, rather than the negative talk that was creeping in as you get quarantined for a year and a half in quarantine years, which is 4 weeks in normal time. Oh,
well, God bless her. When you struggle, or if you know somebody who's new in the workforce, not necessarily a millennial, because millennials, I think, get a bad rap a lot. But I know that millennials do struggle more with knowing what's professional, and how do we really, what's the barometer? What's the measure of what is and what is not professional? And I think that the diversity compass is a fantastic measure of if what I'm about to say is professional or not. Number 1, does it contribute to the well-being and success of this organization? If it doesn't, we really don't have any business saying it. Number 2, is this offensive to anyone? Actually, that's number 3. Number 2 is this inclusive? And number 2, if I ask myself those 3 questions and get the green light, then I feel comfortable talking about or saying whatever it is that I was going to talk about or say. And as we were going through that and the cost-benefit analysis, what the lesson turned out to be was, more than anything else, what would help a lot of people, I think, at work is not talking as much, because we tend to say things that, number 1, aren't contributing to the success of the organization, but number 2, that end up coming back to bite us. The less people say, the more they are respected, and the more even mysterious they might seem. And when they do talk, it tends to be appreciated more. Would you agree with that, Mart?
Absolutely.
Well, then why do you talk so much? Thank you, Lydia. Hello, Dan. My wife and I are grateful for your videos. Thank you, Martin. And hold on, I'm going to put you up.
Now let's get now.
Oh, I can't see Martin's message. It cut off. And how to?
It says, hello, Dan. It says, hello, Dan. My wife and I are so grateful for your videos because we have learned a lot about how to communicate with each other constructively.
Well, thank you, Martin. That's really nice. That's a struggle for me every day. I think for everybody. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You do have to invest in it, don't you, Martin? Did you ever do this? Martin, not you, Marty, but Martin, did you ever do the the thing where you ask your wife, honey, how full is your love tank today? Do you ever say that, Marty, to Michelle?
Yeah, that's a real popular expression that she and I use all the time. Right in the morning, I'm like, "How's your love tank today?" And then she goes, "How?" I mean, what? That sounds like a weird thing.
Well,
to
see,
say.
Marty is not. He's not such a follower of mine. I mean,
I am actually. That just sounds strange to me.
You haven't answered any questions.
What? No, I know. I answered with one of your answers. But it is how it works, how you can use it. Now,
yes.
Besides the point. But my other point to you is if anybody walked up to me or my wife and said, is your love tank full? I'd have to wonder how that question came to their mind and why they were asking me.
Well, probably no one would ask you other than Michelle. Because in Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, that was what he suggested doing. And I've done that. And it's actually very constructive because I like silly things.
Can you walk me through a scripted version of this?
I will walk you through a scripted version of it.
Where you are?
Yes.
What's going on here?
Yes. We all have. I'm going to call it. Thank you. We all have a love language, right? I mean, we all have a primary love language. Mine is giving and receiving gifts, and my secondary is acts of service. You know, I need to touch and feel the love, or be able to, cash it in. And every day, we are filling up and draining the people around us's love tank. You know what I mean? Like if we have a partner, if you have a wife or a spouse or a husband or a significant other, we are for sure draining that tank every day. Are we filling it up? Are we doing things to fill it up? And so when you ask Michelle, for example, and it's like you just start off saying, okay, we're going to say that we have a metaphorical love tank of 10 units. And today, how full is your tank?
Okay.
Today, how full is your tank? And so like if Michelle were to say, it's kind of like, I'm feeling kind of a 6 today. Then you say, well, then you say, what can I do to fill that up for you? I can't believe I'm saying it. That's actually what you'd say. So
No, I think what you're supposed to say is, dude, I mean, is this real? Somebody made money? So in other words, you want me to ask my wife how many units wait, so if I
get Michelle, she would understand and she would say, okay. That sounds very useful, actually. She would.
Just a second. Let's try this in real life.
Let's do it, because she's kind of...
Let me call her down for just a second.
Okay, I think Michelle's kind of on the spectrum. I am.
Hi. Oh, Michelle came down here. Michelle. How's it going? If it's not full, Dan wants to know how many units it would take to fill your love tank.
That's not what Dan wants to know.
I don't think I have room in my love tank. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer that, but I'm pretty sure I have room in my love tank.
Michelle?
I have room for more love.
See?
Always.
You see? Michelle answered it like a real person who wants to have more love and be more loving. This is all about being more loving. If you're new to this channel, we're loving here. So, Marty,
yeah.
Michelle, okay. Are you still there?
I'm still in the room, yes.
Okay,
Am I still here? I'm not sure, but I'm still in the room.
Michelle, let's just say that you have a love tank, a metaphorical love tank. And on a scale of 1 to 10, you either feel that it's, empty, being a 1, or totally full, you could not possibly receive more love. You are filled and you're alive with love. Okay? So today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how full would you say your love tank is?
I would say my love tank is probably 65% full.
See, Marty? I told you she would take it seriously and give you a real answer. Now, Michelle, that's too bad. what do you think my brother could do to fill up your tank so that it's at 100%?
Wow.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes the love tank is not necessarily filled by, I don't know the answer to that, Dan. I really don't know the answer, but
you're giving the perfect answer.
And I feel you. I do. Like, I hear you and I feel you, and I appreciate what you're saying, but I guess I don't know the answer.
I'm with Heather, man. All of a sudden, I'm freaking out.
I don't think that one person responsible for filling the love tank. But I'm not looking at it like a sexual thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's. So I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Michelle, you always blow me away with your insightful responses, because I think you're, that not only did she take it seriously and wants more units in her love tank, she said that she, for example, does not look to Marty for him to fill up that tank. Only him, right? Right, Michelle?
Yes, I would agree with that.
You know, Michelle, I have to digress, because lately, you're off the hook, Michelle, thank you. Lately...
Okay, thank you, Dan. But I hear you. I want to hear more.
Well,
because I think what you're saying is interesting, and I want to hear more. Well,
thank you, Michelle. See, Michelle listens and puts things into practice. Thank you, Michelle. I know I can always count on you. And I've been trying, I don't know about you all who are watching this, but I'm at that stage in my life where I'm almost as old as my brother has been for years. And I'm trying to level out the love so that instead of having, this romantic relationship, like my sister-in-law was just saying, where I look to you to fill up my tank, I'm trying to make all of my relationships more romantic and my romantic relationships more friendly and brotherly. Therefore, I'm trying to cultivate love with a capital L. I know you are trying to do that too, aren't you, Marty?
Yep.
Are you still there?
I think everyone.
But Marty is really gifted in that. I think Marty's.
Well, thanks, Michelle.
I think Marty does it on a daily basis.
Yes, Marty's very gifted. Marty's gifted. He's very gifted. He is actually. He actually is naturally the reason. In case you're all wondering, why is Dan's? I'm assuming semi out of touch. Probably lives in his parents' basement home. Brother. Attending this session, and it's because Marty is much more in tune and in touch with relationships and therefore social media experiences than I am. So I look to him, as I always have for so many things, and I'm looking to Marty to kind of help me get in touch, because if you've ever written me, it's a challenge to get me to use the tools, because I don't know how, and it's overwhelming to me. So Marty's not so overwhelmed, but I don't know how he gets any work done. I don't know how anybody gets any work done if they have Facebook.
Every once in a while, I think we're like, I don't know if Lydia's still with us, Dan, but you might want to try some Spanish. I know that Lydia likes her Spanish too. I've been looking at some of our friends' YouTube channels. But again, going back to talking a little bit about your community, and we're getting there too. And I really appreciate your insight, but I'm wondering how are people dealing with what they're going through right now, and what are they going through? Because now, some of us are 3-4 weeks. Heather's since January, quarantining.
Oh my God, Heather's on the ball.
Right, Heather knew what was coming up, man. She was like reading the paper. She saw, I don't know what this is, but I'm not screwing around. But so, what are the challenges going on right now?
Okay, I don't know if you all heard that, but I'm going to ask, Jupiter and Heather and people who I see you are on now. By the way, Heather, I agree with you. I hated my 20s. Marty, how did you put that? I want to make sure that they understood it. Say that again.
What are the challenges of going into 3 or 4 weeks? What are the challenges of a new world, really? What's going on with people? okay, here's Jupiter having to help my ex who's been in the hospital for weeks. Wow, that like it's a new challenge.
Jupiter. That's a lot of things going on there. So you have to actually go into a hospital, which is very scary. And when you say that you have to help your kid's dad, who is your ex, is that because you want to, or you kind of are the only one and you're defaulting caring for him? Maybe you don't want to answer that. I apologize for asking that question. But how do you feel about that? Like when you come home every day after going to the hospital, how do you live alone? And if you don't, how does that must just be super scary. Like, how do you deal with that fear? What do you say when you say validation everywhere, Muppet? By the way, Muppet, what's your real name? So I don't keep calling you Muppet. This happening didn't really change anything for our family, but helping him and his insurance, etc. We are his only family. Oh, so he's still part of your life and you're still family with him, even though he's not your husband anymore. That's just like our family, Jupiter. See, we're like right there. Like we are a lifer family. It doesn't matter if you divorce us, try to abandon us, we're always together. But tough with the university shut down, hospitals struggle. The grocery stores are empty, Heather? Heather's grocery stores are empty, like Venezuela, empty? I can't go, so I have to call and get on the nurses and doctors. You pray a lot, you dance, you work, and you love what you do. Of course you do. Of course you do. I work a lot too. Isn't it a blessing to be able to like be excited about working? My brother. What?
Heather, I want to know where Heather is.
Heather's in Connecticut, I believe she said.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Yes. And yes, we're family, and we are all. He's gone through a lot. Does he have COVID-19, Jupiter, or is he in the hospital with something else? Because the scary thing that I was trying to impress upon some of my friends here is, look, it's not even about if you have COVID-19 or not. It's about the effects of that are going to affect us all. If you break your leg, if you are sick, if you need to go to the grocery store, right? The food bank is nearly empty. Do you know what you would do, Heather, if those supplies run out? I mean, what are people doing? Because you're when you say, I can't remember, when you say that you're in Connecticut, I know Connecticut's a big place, but I'm assuming that you're in a densely populated area. You're not like in a farm or anything, right? I'm assuming that because you'd have to be like an heiress to be in a farm in Connecticut. Hold on. The food bank is almost empty. It's such a blessing. Hi, Miranda. Miranda, where are you from and what's going on? Ontario, Kate is back. I've seen Kate before. And I'm a teacher and still able to teach online. Hey, Noelle. And it has Noelle. But she's too mean. I'm very grateful that I'm online. My brother it's jobs like that you might need to pack it up and hunker down here. Just who knows who Elvis Stoico is? I'll tell you who he is. He's the guy who autographed. Look, you're sitting Elvis at. My brother was friends with him.
Elvis Presley?
No, Elvis Stoico. My brother was really good friends with him until his wife, as part of her communication growth journey, did away with that friendship. Michelle, remember what you said?
What?
Do you dye your hair? And he's like,
oh boy, yeah, that was good.
Little girls bringing people together, Dan.
Yeah.
See, Michelle?
So yes, that is nice.
It was nice.
That is nice.
Okay. No, wait a minute. What, Heather? Heather's now. I'm getting to your. I apologize. There's a big lag between when I ask a question and I'm getting an answer. Heather's saying she's in an online daily prayer group. That's good, and that helps. Well, I'm struggling. how are people going to get food? I thought about that too. You know, like, what are you thinking, Mart? And like, what is everybody thinking about the global food supply now that nobody's picking the strawberries, you know, and then nobody's harvesting the wheat? I mean, aren't we going to suffer? Aren't we going to have a big global food shortage? Has anyone looked into this? Because I know that if we are, nobody's telling us. You know, that I've figured out through this whole thing. You're not getting told anything until you have chaos in the streets, basically, is what I'm seeing. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that. Except for, of course, if you're in Cuomo's neighborhood, I have been very impressed with the way he has talked. Tom, you cannot be referring to this content. What is everybody doing about food? Is anybody planting a garden? Seriously, I ordered some yard birds and a couple of goats I'm considering. Anyone else? Marty?
What's that?
All right, I've ordered some chickens and I'm considering getting a couple of goats.
I think that's an exceptional idea. I don't know that chickens and goats. Well, you know, as I said the other day, I really like to drink the milk of goats, so that's nice. And chickens are cute, and I don't think you can go wrong with chickens and goats. Why not?
Do you think we could teach Mom how to milk a goat?
I don't think you're going to be able to do that unless you want to.